Why, thank you. This is as surreal for me as it is for you. I've been having conversations with some of the people you're about to meet in the green room and just hearing them talk. Yeah. I've been really cool about it, though, so don't worry. Please welcome to the stage, in no particular order, in this particular order, Andrew Wincott, Neil Newbon, Amelia Tyler, Dave Jones, and Tracy Wiles. Well, this is a treat as I sit on my wooden throne. Thank you all for joining us today. And we're going to begin with such a special little gift for you all and for everyone watching at home. As I, deep breaths everybody, invite the fine folk in the back to press play on your self-tapes.
You said you wouldn't.
I said no such thing. Please, would you be so kind?
The tadpole squirms in your mind. It seems sated. The tadpole, it's doing something. Taking something you'll never get back. The tadpole writhes. Your mind suddenly reels as if bitten. The tadpole quivers. It seems to be burrowing deeper in your mind, feasting on what? The word escapes you. The tadpole jolts deep within your brain. This is it.
And the mouse smiled brightly, for surely it had outfoxed the cat. Then came down the cleverer claw, and that, poor mouse, was that. From a Comerian nursery rhyme. Well met, I am Raphael, very much at your service.
I'm a fugitive, escaped from the hells, and those bastards are trying to take me back. It's a shitting catastrophe. But at least I'm out.
Chaos is welcome. In doses. It helps balance, but this is too much. This is unnatural.
Still you resist. And resistance to power earns my trust. There are precious few who can.
Oh, clever. It seems human wine is crafted so that you won't remember what it tastes like. Oh.
You aided a bear, not knowing if it would savage you. A true friend of nature. Or a lunatic.
Do you suppose that's amusing? That pig language cannot do justice to what I'm about to do to you.
There is no place for bravado in this. Only fear or foolishness. Pick one.
Oh, you better be damn sure about that. And that need better have a time limit. Promise me we'll kill him before this is said and done.
Come on then. Let me show you what it is to die well.
The songs would have you believe we saved the realms entire. Perhaps we did.
Exhaustion washes over you. What a spectacle the day has been. Enough to drive anyone to their limits. Still, you can't help but think of him. His dark eyes, the flash of his teeth when he smiles. No, not now. You need to focus. That thing in your mind isn't resting. Neither must you.
Oh, that's disappointing. I prefer it when my clients put up a fight, only to realize victory was never an option. So go, try to cure yourself. Shop around, beg, borrow, and steal. Exhaust every possibility until none are left. And when hope has been whittled down to the very marrow of despair, that's when you come knocking on my door. Hope. Such a tease.
Just to quickly say, of course, Samantha isn't with us today. They send their love, particularly to Dave's Goonies t-shirt. We really love that. And I never say die. And also, that evil laugh, straight out the gate. Beautiful. And the word tadpole. Oh. All right, back in the room. Any thoughts? What would we like to say about what we just saw?
Seek help.
Seek help. All of us got it, yeah. Any regrets? Did you feel like you got it straight away?
You mean the hair?
I just want
Dyeing my hair blue in lockdown. Yeah, that was a regret.
Sometimes when you look back on audition tape 6 years later, you think, OK, I've got a few notes on myself, but how do you feel about seeing that again?
It was a different time.
It was a different time, yeah, a different time. Yes, and now we can move on because it's been such a success. And look at you guys now. One of us may have a BAFTA in this room. Should we get a round of applause? Now, performing in a video game is often misunderstood. I was wondering if anybody wanted to jump in. Perhaps, Neil, would you be so kind to talk about how performing in a video game compares to other art forms?
Yeah, I think it's come a long way, actually. I mean, there's obviously two very large different sides of performance in games. Performance capture, motion capture, and also voice work. And full performance capture, which is what obviously a lot of us did in Baldur's Gate 3, is the culmination of everything. The interesting thing is that it's very similar to theatre, and it's very similar to film. And this full performance I'm talking about, obviously. And finding the balance and the middle line between has become, in a way, its own methodology now. Because you have the intimacy of film. The camera can be right here, but you can also be in a wide. There's also nothing around you. There's no props apart from maybe critical props, and there's no costumes there apart from a very tight Velcro suit, darling. And so, you have to sort of have a huge amount of imagination and willing suspension of disbelief. Doing voice work alone in the booth is incredibly difficult because you don't have any of that stuff around you, and you're not even moving, but you still have to imbue it with life. Obviously, Amelia should talk about that more than I should, master of it. But yeah, it's interesting to see how in the last, certainly my career, 15 years of working in games, how far it's come from when the story was kind of tacked on more than anything else. It doesn't really make a difference why they were blowing up the aliens, just that the aliens have to be blown up, to now where we see not only representation and people being seen by diversity, but also seeing so much depth and so many layers in character work and story work that I think personally it's unequal to the gameplay now, which is extraordinary. So yeah.
Would you guys say that there are some misunderstandings, that people find out what you do and then go, oh, it's like this, isn't it?
I think it depends how many games they play and what kind of games they play, because people who play FPSs may not get what kind of game this is. It's a very diverse market, and people's understanding of what a game is and what kind of game they like to play is just as diverse. So it depends on the person.
When it comes to being the narrator, how many hours do you think you put in?
I don't know. I don't know. I might be able to count that high. Maybe.
You've heard the outtakes. That's a representation of how many hours you were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just the outtakes. Like, I was in there a long time, to the point where I hear lines now and I'm like, I have a vague memory of that. Maybe in 2023? Question mark? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But
We'll find out. I know people here.
if
We'll
you
work
could,
it out.
that'd be great.
If there are performers in the audience, and we do have a wonderful audience here tonight, who are interested in becoming part of your world and becoming a performer like yourselves, does anybody have any advice to offer them to get started? What would be some core tips just to make sure you can double-check your working before you get going?
Study acting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Whether you're acting for games, acting for voice, acting for anything, it comes down to the acting. Once you've nailed that, it's just technique.
Yeah, I think when you watch the tapes there, it's just acting. That could be any medium.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is motion capture and a lot of voice stuff is just voice, but that's just acting. That's the first time I've seen all these guys' tapes. Amazing! Amazing!
I think you're all still in shock.
So, seeing like high school photos.
I know!
How naive we were. Absolutely. I think Amelia's absolutely bang on. You learn acting and stretch your craft and learn as many tools as you can. Study theatre, study film technique, study voice work, etc., etc. Learn it all. Yeah.
Yeah, I've often thought that radio is a very physical medium. I think possibly it's people think, oh, you just sit around and or stand around and read scripts, and well, yeah, in a way you do. But I'm always amazed when I do radio, and the game obviously too. You saw us physicalizing, in space, so it's not just the words. But in radio, actors physicalize because what you do with your body affects your voice. So it's really for me, going into motion capture was going back into 3 dimensions. It's a bit like, as Neil said, going back into theatre. You slightly angle it, you know, and plus if you're playing a theatrical role, then yeah.
What did you guys use to get into your characters? How did you snap back in when you were brought back in? How do you make sure you were your characters?
I did a growl at the beginning of every recording session, and I won't do it into this microphone because I will ruin it, but it's just to get that like bassy sit down relaxation.
Oh, please do it.
I can't. No, you don't want that. No, sorry, you want that. The tech team do not.
Can we just turn her mic down a smidge?
It's all about technique.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways. Again, for any of the actors out there, I mean, there's lots of different ways that you should, as an actor, try and have that easy, quick get-in with the character. There's a movement and a head shake and a line of dialogue that I use for Astarion, for instance. Hello, my name's Astarion, which you just then play around with a little bit. And I think all of us have some kind of basic relaxation technique to drop in the growl, which I want to hear now as well.
You know you're going to have to do it by the end of the day. Fine. We'll circle back.
Yeah, I've got to say, I stepped into Holson. There's, I don't know if you'd be able to like see it in possibly a further picture, but there's like almost like a diagram of basically the top of a gear stick. And you've got lines saying like 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, basically, so you can like put your feet on there and make sure that it's the same pose at the start and end of every take. And basically, mine was a fixed position on there, and just stepping in, taking that breath in, and just letting him out.
No growls.
No. I didn't need to resort to that.
Just because you can't.
How about you, Tracy?
Honestly, I just turn up and do the accent and say the lines.
She's good.
It's not even a joke. It sounds so terrible, but it is just that.
We do actually have some images to share.
There's the gear stick.
There you go. You see it right there.
Her
in the
name's
corner.
Tracy.
What have you signed yourself up for?
I have no idea. Could we talk a bit about the most memorable direction you received whilst performing? I want to know what notes you got, what sort of it's like to be directed in that room.
Okay.
How does that feel?
Well, I was very lucky in the fact that as far as intimacy went...
we're jumping to that.
You know?
Okay. Well, we're going to wind up to that, but that's great.
Yeah. But there was like there was the voice direction and the physical direction, which was amazing. The performance direction. Some directors wore 2 hats because at times they needed to. But generally, and especially through lockdown as well, we didn't even see either director. We had the privilege of having the engineers come and mark us all up and make sure that everything was spot on as far as audio and the actual all the camera setup was right. But the directors, they were all at home directing via Teams. And so, yeah, and thankfully, that tech, without that, this game would have been knackered. It was amazing. And we bounced back through COVID very quickly. We were only down a few months, if that. So yeah, the protocols they put in place was incredible.
That's done a huge testament to Larian and also Pitstop that worked together to facilitate that, so that we felt like, okay, this is still happening, we're still invested in it. And it was amazing, actually, that when all of us were talking about, okay, we're still doing this is still happening. It was quite incredible.
Let's take a moment to give a round of applause for that, because it goes underappreciated.
I mean, some of us didn't get to see human faces at all.
I'm sorry. As discussed earlier, Baldur's Gate 3 was in early access for quite some time. How did that affect the growth of your performance and the final product, would you say, from your perspective? Do you want to take this one, Andrew?
it's very interesting. I thought the way the whole game evolved, so did the character. I'm not quite sure whether Raphael was intended to be quite as important a role in the beginning, but he became important. So I just went with the flow, really, and did whatever they asked me to do. I mean, and then along came Harlep towards the end. And I thought, oh, where are we going now? You want Raphael to do what? And I spent most of that session on my knees. But Pit Stop did so much. I can see Josh out there. Josh, to make my life comfortable during that session. But I was pretty raw by the end of it.
Your knees, yeah.
But
Would anyone else like to speak?
After that?
Yep, that's fair.
I want to say something slightly more seriously. That actually,
that is serious. It's a true story.
Elaborating on that, everyone. We did actually.
My knees were raw.
Yes. So raw. We heard about it for weeks. But one great thing that came out of a long cycle was also because there were so many actors, 258, something like that. It's been crazy like that. Amazing. Almost everybody doing full performance. There was also a lot of support from the directors, but also Pit Stop and Larian for the actors with intimacy directors as well. They were always there for people who needed them. Some people, obviously may not have needed them, but some people did need them, and it was always available. And so even though we had a lot of fun, especially some of us, darling, had a lot of fun, didn't we, doing certain scenes, it was also great that even though, we can do this and it was really fun, that there was also a lot of safety there. And that was really important, I think, that we should also note that the intimacy directors were there, they were available, and we were very taken care of. And so we could have a lot of fun doing very silly things.
Yeah, they made it they made it an incredibly safe space to explore that, and we did.
Was our session 4 hours, wasn't it, darling?
It was only supposed to be 2.
It was only supposed to be 2. We got carried away.
The computers weren't on, you just kept going. That's great. This is a very expansive question, but what would you say are your own... What did you bring to the roles that made them from you? What are your personality traits that you see in your characters?
How to answer this? I come from a psychology background, and I was training to work with serial killers. So I am... Hi. Not looking at any specific serial killers in the room. So I guess I've always had the ability to see the world from a slightly behind the viewer and a slightly left of center way and look for logic and twists in emotion in a way that some people don't. So I think it's given me a bit of emotional versatility, which was useful with this, because there were like 17 different narration styles by the end of this. So if you're playing, some of them only for a short time and some of them for the entire game. So if you're playing as Dark Urge, you get a totally different narrator to if you're playing as a Tav or that's a rogue or a cleric or whatever. We very specifically wanted a narrator that reflected your play style. So whether you're a goody-goody paladin or the nastiest little Dark Urge, we wanted me on your shoulder cheering that on. So I guess my background in psych really helped with that because I could just flip. And for Dave, it was, dressing up as Bear.
Yes.
You became a furry after that, didn't you?
Yeah. I've got a residency in Soho. On
a serious note.
For me, I think Halsin's got a slightly more northern burr to him, and so I think that grounds him slightly. And basically, I thought that imbued him with a lot more character had I just played him RP.
And Tracy, you just said the lines.
The accent just helps everything. No, I think the more it would lean toward Jaheira being melancholy about anything, the more I would try and find the humour in it. And I think Rory, my writer, that we did that, and I do that. So I just try and find everything as funny as possible. It just makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, here's to that.
No.
As this whole panel has proved. How about you, Neil?
Well, yeah, there is something that I think it's down to the testament of the amazing writing from Stephen Rooney, the writers contributed, as all the writers. Me personally, there is something with the Larian that is personal to me. So as somebody who went into that knowing full well, not initially, but learning very quickly that this was going to become a thing, the first thing for me was like, the writing is amazing, I have to get this right. I have to find the right tonality to honour his story and also not make it my story, but make it his story and support that. And I think the thing for me was making sure that despite all the theatrics, the humour, the facade, that when it came to the actual moments, that I was in control of the craft that I was using to make sure it's all about him, but that as somebody who can resonate with that, sadly, I support that and make it real. And I think we did that across the board, not just my character, but all the characters like Carla, all these ones that have these difficult situations. We've heard back, as all of us have heard back from people that played the game, that they saw that and they felt that and they understood that. And I think that's, for me, that's one of the greatest achievements of our part of the game, is that they really connected to these stories. It really meant something to people. So for me personally, I think that was the thing that I didn't bring myself, but I had an awareness of I can't mess around with this. This has to be authentic and real. So, yeah, I think that was the challenge I faced with it. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Andrew, when did you see yourself in your character?
As Harlop?
Don't sign anything he gives you.
Yeah.
From now on?
Sure.
It's all a little late for that, I'm afraid. I suppose I connected with Raphael through the language. That's really as I recall it. And the language was so fantastic. So I don't know, 17th century almost. It was very elegant. Adam wrote some wonderful lines for Raphael, and it was so much fun to discover the irony of the character, to find the wit, the enjoyment, but then the darkness, the danger, the malevolence behind it. And it's sort of it was walking that balance that I found so fascinating, so challenging. And I think that was the beginning of it. And we just kept going.
You mentioned the deliciousness of the lines, and this is for everybody, please jump in. Are there certain lines that you particularly enjoy delivering? That in the moment you went, oh, this is a great job and I love my life?
A vicious mockery. There's so many good vicious mockery lines. I mean, they're all quite offensive. Do them anyway. When they're insulting you, things like mouthier than an arse, and behold, Elminster's ball bag. Brilliant lines. I think we all did those lines.
Sorry. Okay, somebody else say something, please.
The full line, mouthier than an arse and twice as full of shite.
I love the authority line. I love that I have a word now, apparently. Mm-hmm. But the lines that I love are, like, all the Dark Urge ones were super juicy. They made some beautiful mental images for me to just play with on that and growl with. But I love the silly ones. I love the ones where it goes like full Terry Pratchett. You're just tongs, a wide variety of tongs. And no justification for why I'm saying it. Just felt like pointing out there were some tongs.
We've got to get that on a T-shirt. That's excellent. How about you, Neil? Any lines that you love?
14,000 of them.
Yeah.
There's too many. I always ask people what they like and just really do that, because I was just so blessed with such great writing and such. They allowed me to take such a liberty with the lines. I was right there. You know what I mean? Just really. Thank you. Just allowing me to have such fun with so many things. Like, it's not you understand, of course, darling. It's me. I have standards. You know, things like that. Just allowing me to find the fun and humour and the wit and, it was brilliant. There's too many. Yeah.
You must be getting, and this is a curiosity question, are you being voice recognised now? where you might be like putting your shopping in a bag at the supermarket, and someone goes, Astoria.
Well, actually, at Brummie, and I have a slight twinge of London and a little bit of weirdly American diphthong, so not as much as you think, unless I'm getting very cross with somebody. Actually, what gives me away is the giggle. I've inherited the giggle. That was relatively new the last 4 years. So if I've done this before, like I've got a little one, she makes me laugh. So I'll go, and somebody will walk past and just go, Astoria, and I was like, hi, hello.
Does that happen to any of you guys? Not being called
not
Astoria.
with my accent, no.
Yeah, that, if you're doing that for fun, just on the phone.
I have to admit, I sometimes put on a slight voice when I'm accepting Deliveroos, just in case.
It has been quite a journey for all of you guys, and I'd love to give you the platform to say whatever you'd like to say to the fans. We have so many wonderful ones here tonight. What would you like to say? This has been an incredible adventure, and I'm putting you on the spot, but how has it been as you begin to hang up your hats and say goodbye to this whole journey? Is there anything anybody would like to say?
Do start with me.
Yeah.
I am chronically online, and it's great. So just keep responding. It's lots of fun. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, likewise. I am really online far too much. The fan art is incredible. Oh, no, a lot of it, I get the respectable stuff. Yeah, I know that's out there. I don't get it. Not that I don't get it, I just don't get it sent to me. And it's lovely. It's really nice.
Is that a
I can hook
complaint?
you up.
It's right, my account only bears.
What a mental image. I guess just thank you for welcoming us all into this community that you have formed. We didn't do this. This was you guys. Thank you for finding yourself in these stories and being open-minded and letting us watch that journey that you've all gone on together, because there have been some incredible stories that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life. So thank you.
Yeah, I just reiterate what Amelia said, to be honest. I guess now it's yours. That's what Adam said earlier. It's your story now. And I know the modding stuff is coming, etc. But it's been your story for all of your stories for a long time. And for all of us, I think it's fair to say, what an honour it has been to be a part of this and to watch people take it way further than we ever thought it would go. So yeah, thank you.
Well, a round of applause, please, I think. The pair of you, all of you.
Could I just add, please keep being creative, because it's wonderful when the fans reach out and share what they've created, their images, their fantasies, their indulgences.
Why did you look at me in that way?
It was actually Dave.
All right, good.
Also the writing too. Fans have sent things they've written, poetry, ideas, stories. It's so touching, so humbling, the way fans have reached out and shared that. It's been a real joy to be a part of this. I had absolutely no idea at the beginning of all this. It's just been amazing. Thank you.
Now, we do have a little treat coming up shortly, and I can't quite believe we're going to be doing it. So be excited. In a couple of minutes, there's something in here that you'll be really pleased with. But I was just wondering whether you guys might want to, you know what? Just to stop people from getting too excited.
Oh, thank God.
I can't tell whether you're disappointed or excited, but I think that's the way of it. Quickly, before we move on to that, where can we see you next? Where can we watch more of your work
That we're allowed to talk about.
that you're allowed to talk about?
You can see me as the goddess of witchcraft, Hecate, in Hades 2.
Who wants to jump in and say something they can say?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the, and I'm already in the demo of Alex Jones's amazing The Quiet. Yeah! I cannot wait for that to come out. That's extraordinary.
Any more for any more?
So Repta are releasing Project Thalassa, which I think is coming out in August, around that. So yeah, I'm in that too.
A new game, Plato and Moses, is out soon. Look for me on the train. And Alex Goff's new Roman series in audio book form, the Mark Antony story, Caesar's Soldier, is out this week.
There we go.
And speaking of trains, Locomotion, a fantastic point-and-click adventure, again by another BAFTA Connect member, Adam Riches. I can't wait for that. That's going to be phenomenal as well. That's a great comedy, so I'm looking forward to that.
Lovely.
Hopefully later this year.
Okie dokie. Now, we're going to get on with this. Here's what's going to happen. I have 20 cards, right? And on them are famous lines from pop culture, from Baldur's Gate 3, from gaming, from TV. We're going to try and show me rolling this die. And depending on the number, one of you fine folk, we're going to start with you, Andrew, is going to hopefully take the cue card that has the line on it and then recite it in their character's voice, if you'd be so kind. Here we go. It is a 10. Okie dokie, here we go. Might recognise this one from Baldur's Gate 3.
Do you want this as Raphael?
If you would be so kind.
Oh. Was that Gail's granddad?
Okay, we're going to go again. 12. Okay. Thank you for the 12 whoop. This is from The Legend of Zelda.
As a Starian, really. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
I could and should do this all night. Okay, 18. It's from The Devil Wears Prada.
Florals for spring. Groundbreaking.
Okay. Baldur's Gate 3.
Bing bong. That's it.
That's it. Okay, this is from Mass Effect.
I'm Commander Shepard. And this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
This is from one of the best sitcoms on this earth, Peep Show.
For none, Jeremy. For... That's insane.
I want everyone to know I'm having an out-of-body experience. This is just for you.
Oh, thank you.
From Come Dine With Me.
Come on.
Oh, my God. You know what? I've done that, haven't you? Yeah.
Strap in.
I just catch up with this. You won, Jane. Enjoy the money. I hope it makes you happy. Dear Lord, what a sad life, Jane. You ruined my night completely. So you can have the money, and I hope now you can spend it on lessons in grace and decorum. Because you have all the grace for reversing dump truck without any tires on. So Jane, take your money and get off my property.
Okay.
What did you do?
This is from Skyrim.
Yeah, it is. I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow to the knee.
This was once spoken by James Acaster on the Great British Bake Off.
Started making it. Had a breakdown. Bon appetit.
And our final one for the night.
From the Golden Girls.
Good thinking.
I know.
This is from this morning. I love how everyone in the room is working out what it has to be.
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike.
I've had the time of my life. I have to wrap things up and say goodbye and thank you to all of you wonderful people for joining us here and also coming on stage and being so charming and funny and informative and all of the other good stuff. You've been wonderful. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Oh, well. And let me just say, the game means the world to me. It means the world to all of us. Thank you to Larian and all the rest of the gang. Thank you so, so much to Larian, truly. But can I just get one quick growl? Ladies and gentlemen, once more with feeling, as we say goodbye to our guests tonight.
Thanks so much.
A real pleasure.